All right, welcome back. So I'm having to do this over again because there was a bit of an error with the first video I published. If you check the community, I had made a post regarding that. So quickly run through this. Okay, so basically last week we were somewhere around here, right? And I made mention of the fact that volume trend had turned bearish on Thursday, the 31st, right? But our fractal OF was still bullish. Swing short as well was still bullish. So how would have played this? We have gone to our USD baskets, right? And then would have seen this fractal low. And then once it was taken out, we wanted to push to the upside. At the same time, this was still forming, right? We hadn't confirmed this yet. This was still in the process of forming. So once it formed and we pushed above it, then we would have been looking to sell. However, I made mention of the fact that we had a fractal low that had formed below last week's low, right? So once that has happened, you want a situation where price takes it out and then begins to push to the upside. And once that happens, we are no longer looking for reasons to sell the USD except the weekly range is met, right? Except it does the entire week's range. So once we go to the USD futures, which is where we used to measure our range, you can see that we pushed all the way to the upside to go take this out. However, on that Tuesday, we are unable to buy because if you look at the previous day's high, the previous day's high was taken on USD basket. So whenever we are looking to do anything, we are looking at what is happening on USD basket, what is happening on USD futures as well, right? Now, that is for the entire thing. So if we have something that invalidates the setup on either the USD basket or USD futures, then we are not going to take that setup at all across all our pairs, that is EU and GU. However, if it happens that USD basket and USD futures are giving us reason to go in, but we are now getting reasons not to go in on specific pairs, then we are not going to take the setup on those specific pairs. So that was basically what happened. And then on Wednesday as well, of course, US elections rather. And I remember I said in the last week's market preview that crazy things are bound to happen between Tuesday night and Thursday morning, which is basically what we saw by the time it started becoming clear that Donald Trump was going to win the elections. All right. So if we go to um, H4 on EU, you will see what basically happened. They took out previous day's highs, right? Before they started pushing to the downside. Somehow, I don't know why I didn't see this in the last video I made, right? This shows that clearly the ATR was maxed out. So once it pushes to the full range, if they had not taken out previous days high, we would have been looking for a reason to buy, but they took out previous days high before they started pushing down. Same thing happened on GU. So if I switch this to GU, right, you can see the same thing happened. They took out previous day's high, right here. So the opening candle basically took out previous day's high and then started dropping. So even after the weekly range was met, we will not be looking for reasons to buy, right? So that was basically what um, happened last week. So by the time Thursday came around, we would have been expecting the price would still push up, take out this highs here, and then begin to drop, which it never did. And then basically on Friday, we saw that rally again in the USD. So what do we expect for the week in question? So this was basically what made me have to record this again because I didn't have this, hadn't looked at it really. The weekly range, right? So just someone that called my attention to it, and I was like, wow, okay, um, and all. So weekly range was broken. So we basically have an ATR bust, right? So we have an ATR bust for last week. All right. So remember, our ATR burst happens when price basically closes above our weekly range, right? When price closes on Friday above our weekly range, then we have an ATR bust we're expecting to sell. On the other hand, price could have also have gone blow through the range on the downside, and then we'll be looking for opportunities to buy. So once we have an ATR bust, our fractal OF, our swing shorts automatically becomes sells, right? If it breaks to the upside, and if it breaks to the downside, then our bias automatically becomes buys. So volume trend remains bearish on the USD. I posted it on the YouTube video under the last market preview that even after we had this whole massive move, the volume trend still remained bearish. And if you remember in the last video, I was saying that even after they change, the volume trend changes, they usually go up to take out the fractal high before they begin to give us a reason to drop majority of the time. So that has happened. The volume trend still remains fully bearish, and now swing short and fractal OF are also saying bearish. So all our strategies now are aligned in one direction. So throughout this week, the only thing we are looking to do is to sell. The only thing we are looking to do throughout this whole week is to sell the USD, right? So how are we going to be looking to play this, right? So we've seen this fractal high form here, right? And now price has taken it out, right? So the fractal high has formed here and price has taken it out, right? So, however, if we go to the USD futures, price is yet to take out previous day's high, right? So price is here to take out previous day's high. So we are still going to be waiting for price to come take out this previous day's high, that is Monday's high. And once they take out Monday's high, then we'll be looking for a reason to sell on the lower time frames. All right, so I'll be launching a series soon when we're going to be looking at how to build profitable models. I'll discuss one of our entry techniques during that particular series. All right. So that is basically what we are to expect for the week. We are expecting to sell, and we'll be waiting for them to take out these highs, Monday's highs, and then we'll start looking for opportunities to sell within our time, within the time that we are looking at, which is basically our Trade Experts European session, which starts shortly before the European session and ends with the London close. Right. All right. So if we look at the economic calendar, on Tuesday, what do we have? On Tuesday, we have the ZEW. Let me go up. Let's go up, start from the beginning. All right, so we have the inflation rates medium event, and then we have unemployment data coming in from the UK. Thereafter, the economic sentiment from the Eurozone. So those are likely going to be the things to watch out for today, for Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we have the big one coming up, which is the CPI. Right. So if we look at the CPI, I already told those in the FXP that I'm expecting these figures to come in much low, not necessarily much lower, but lower than consensus, right? So we can see for the main CPI, the headline is expected to come in at 315, 315.7, which is above what we had the last time. I think it's going to come in lower. Inflation rate month on month, 0.2, staying the same as last time. Core inflation staying at 0.3. Then the headline inflation rates year on year coming in at 2.6%, higher than the 2.4% we had last time. I think it's going to be coming in lower, right, than consensus. And that will likely play into a bearish USD. All right, so it's likely going to cause the dollar to weaken and have a sell-off. All right, so let's look at Thursday. So on Thursday, we have employment data coming in from the Eurozone. And then later in the day, we'll see the PPI coming in from the US. and then our initial jobless claims. Again, people are going to be watching this to confirm or contradict the NFP figures that we got last week, right? All right. So, or was it last 2 weeks? So that is basically what we are going to be looking out for. The Fed Chair Powell is going to be talking around November 14, that is later in the night on Thursday. And basically, people are going to be paying attention to whatsoever thing he has to say to begin to determine what is likely going to happen in December. Are they going to still look to court? Or are they going to be holding steady? If you ask me, uh, except data that we see going forward suggests otherwise. I think they are going to just hold. I don't think they're going to be cutting. I think they're just going to hold. But we'll see the data that we get between now and the end of the month, right? So, of course, during the last press conference, I was expecting that the interest rate decisions were going to really have big impact in the market. But after the whole crazy move, EU dropping 200 pips um, after the election results, I think basically the market was a bit reluctant to make major moves anymore, right? Even though we still had a huge recovery on that Thursday, but it led to the interest rate decision not being much of a market mover. Like I mentioned in the last video, I was expecting a 0.25 basis point cut, and that was basically what happened. But the interesting part for me was when they asked him the issue around would if Trump asked him to resign, would he resign? And he said no, clearly. And of course, that Trump wasn't allowed by law to fire him or any of the other reserve chairmen. So, if you remember, for those of us who started trading before 2021, you would have remembered the run-ins he was having with Jerome Powell, especially in 2020 during at the start of the COVID. So many clash around what they expect monetary policy to look like. So I don't think Trump will be fighting that fight again. His tenure expires in 2026, so it's very likely he just allows him to run out his tenure. Back to what to expect from the economic calendar on Friday. We're going to be having the goods trade balance from the UK and then the GDP data as well coming in from the UK. And then we're going to be getting retail sales from the US as well as the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index. So that's basically what to expect from the USD. So if we look at what we have here, right? We look at what we have here. What we can see is that the closest fractal low that we have is this one here, right? I think it's going to be a bit difficult for them to push down all the way here. Of course, there's still CPI and anything can happen, but I don't really think we're going to see a push from here all the way down here to break this fractal OF. So what I'm expecting really is a situation where we get a sell-off, right? So to somewhere maybe around here, right? Around this region or even this region, and then we form a fractal low, right, on the daily chart. So basically, maybe we get an entry today, and then Wednesday, a massive sell-off of the CPI. Thursday, we push a little bit down, and maybe the PPI or the US, the job report basically gives a reason to form a low, and then we stay above Friday, Monday, and then maybe Tuesday next week we get another entry to then break the fractal OF, right? So that is basically what I'll be expecting to see in the markets, right? All right. So as regards the trend engine, so for those who are in the FXP, I've already told them that everyone will be getting their 100% off coupon codes. So before now, I sent a limited version to them for them to play around with it, test it, get used to it and all that. But the proper 1 year license, they'll be getting their own on Thursday. So to everyone that is in the FXP as at that day. So if you are joining after that day, you're not going to get your own, you're not going to be getting a free copy of the trend engine. So anyone who wants to get it by reason of being the FXP has to be there before Thursday, right? So the copies are going to be limited to just 15 copies at the current price. So the current price is basically just an introductory price. If you don't get it at the current prices, then of course, when the prices go up, you have only yourself to blame. And for those who are asking, okay, well, how good is the FXP and all that, I'm going to just maybe just read through a couple of our charts and then you see what other people are saying about it. So just mentioned during the that B5 was supposed to be an A model. So B5 is one of our reversal models that is based off the our volume, where we look at volume. So he said that B5 was supposed to be an A model, but of course it's nothing like no other. I think we can't get enough data for the volume trend like 3 years back, which will make it more exciting. And when you look at the volume trend throughout this year, you will see all the mistakes you've been in the market. The volume trend puts you in the right direction for a good amount of the time. And of course, the trend engine is based on the volume trend, as I've mentioned before. I said, on me, I am impressed. So I replied that the only reason I left it as a B model is because it's often a counter trend model. Else, I agree, it's quite powerful. So normally I don't look to trade contrary to the trend, but that was just so good that I had to lift it not just to a C model but to a B model because it's really something. The truth is that the volume trend is simply something else when it comes to showing direction. I have always believed that tracking the money is the true way to determine direction, but have never been able to do so very effectively until now. Most good traders use COT, but the fact that the volume trend is based on real time data makes it so effective. And then this was personal chance said finish the course. The only thing I'm trying to work on is the C2 model. Aside that, I'm very pleased with what I have because it's close to about 80%, actually 7.9% monthly without the C2 model. Then if we can find a better way to better the C2 model, then we're up. Of course, this doesn't mean that every month we are getting 8%. It means that when you sum up what you've have throughout the whole year, because I asked every one of them to do a 1 year back test. So when you sum up what you've gotten throughout the whole year and then you divide it by the 12 months of the year, you come close to this on average, right? So that is basically that about that. I'm going to be making a video around frequently asked questions around the trend engine because several people have, some people, I'm not use several people, some people have reached out to me asking a couple of questions around the licensing, around issues with VPS, around issues of timing, whether it works with prop firms, what do they need to be aware of, and all that. So I'm going to make that video later within the week. Also, it's important that I state here that I'm going to be starting two series. I'm going to be starting two series, free series on the YouTube channel. So one of the series is going to be has to do with developing or building how to build profitable models, how to build your own profitable trading system. So there are several things that are going to building a profitable trading system, and I'm going to be taking time to break each of these things down and the things that you should be paying attention to in each of these stages, right? And like I mentioned before, I'm going to be sharing some of my own insights used over the years in building my own systems. Virtually every single system I have traded since I started trading were systems I came up with, right? Since I really started trading with specific strategies, I've always been the one building my own strategies, my own systems, right? That helps you because it's something you own, it's something you really understand, and you can tweak it to suit yourself. You learn how to tweak it to suit yourself. And then the second series I'm going to be starting, we're going to run these two series from now to the end of the year, is on prop firms, prop firms. So several people came, some newbies that came to the website, just saw the illustration I made around how to use the trend engine to trade with prop firms, and they were like, what exactly are even prop firms? So I'm going to be looking into that. What are prop firms? What are they? What are the pros? What are the cons? How do you use them? What do you look out for? Between last year and this year, I personally had lost close to 350K in proper accounts, right? So remember, had 105 in funding, 105K in funding from MFF, 200K funding from funded account from TFT that I just passed, and then 50K from funded engineer that I was still in the evaluation phase, and basically just went down the drain. TFT is back. At least they are at least operating, and they are claiming they would begin to issue coupons for us to restart and all. So I think I have enough vast experience. Of course, MFF, nothing we could have done about it. TFT, maybe there were signs that things that someone should avoid. So I'm going to be doing a deep dive. What prop firms am I working with at the moment? The ones I think you should avoid and all that. So a deep dive into prop firms. So if you are looking to get into prop firms, that is a series you don't want to really miss. So that is going to be all for now. The Black Friday sales remain on. I'm going to put the coupon code in the comments, and you could use that to get whatever you want from the site as well. All right. So take care and enjoy the rest of your week.